How does mediumship actually even work? It's a crazy concept, isn't it, when you think about it? Because the problem is the planet that we are living on has been saturated in misunderstandings. You don't have to look very far to see one person who's got themselves dressed up in a cloak and they've got a pointy hat and they've got loads of incense burning in the background and they look all spooky and they all look all spiritual, and then they open their mouth to start speaking on behalf of the spirit world and the evidence is not even subpar. It's, have you maybe lost someone? Well, the fact that somebody's come to you for a reading would probably dictate that, guess what, there's a high probability that they've lost someone or they're not going to be paying for a mediumship service. Do you have a, well, what do you mean, do you have a, I want to know the information that the spirit world are bringing forward. They're not going to be giving you clues as a medium. You are the go-to, you are the medium, you are the conduit to the spirit world. You are in between the spirit world and the materialistic. They're going to be giving you evidence. Their loved one is in front of you. Why wouldn't they give you evidence? A lot of you have been conditioned, right, to believe that mediumship's a charade. I'll get my words out. It's become so embedded within entertainment. It's normal and natural to see mediums on platforms giving readings to the masses. Now, I'm very opinionated on this, and I'll tell you the reason why. Mediumship was never intended to be entertainment. It wasn't. It was there to help, to guide, to heal individuals who are suffering from pain and grief. A message of help, heal, serve. So why did it then end up on the cobbled path to where it is now? Very simple. Mankind's ego. Mankind's ego is always the culprit for every problem on this planet. Like, seriously, when you think about it, right? Ego is one of the biggest killers of humanity. It destroys it. It's like a venom. It's a toxin. From the inside, it rots each and everyone's ideologies to the very core, because you could be one of the loveliest people, but as soon as you get an ego, that's gone. Your empathy abilities, your sentient abilities, your wants, needs and desires to help mankind to be able to heal themselves, the second you get a touch of ego, that's gone. And one of the things with that is you really need to understand why mediumship was given to us in the first place. And when I say given to us, it wasn't a case of it was given to us by the gods themselves, or it was anointed to specific people as some individuals, whatever you believe. But mediumship is built into each and every one of us. It's a primary function. It's no different to how the brain deals with trauma, and it'll suppress things that it doesn't want you to pay attention to. You know, sometimes when you get PTSD, or you'll get many different forms of cognitive dysfunction, what happens is the brain does a very good job of keeping you alive. Therefore, if it's went through a traumatic period, it'll shut it down. It'll be like, we don't want to deal with that no more. You need to live. You need to do what you need to do. Well, that being said, with that analogy out of the way, think of mediumship as being a byproduct of our entire being. When we are in deep pain, when we are suffering, when we are in deep need of healing, when we are going through the grieving process, this is why your clairsenses will click into gear. Fun fact, your clairsenses are always in gear. Your clairsenses, a lot of people believe that clairsenses need activated, they need to be elevated, they need to be, and whilst one could argue that they need to be refined, them being refined isn't about you gaining extra power. It's about you refining the abilities you already have to be aware of their energy, be aware of the information they are trying to give you. That's what we're talking about when we're saying refined. All of you who find my channel are mediums. You're all born mediums. It's in us by DNA. It's in us by functionality. But what sets a medium apart? What makes a medium good and what makes a medium bad? In my personal opinion, a good medium is somebody who wants the best for humanity as a whole, not just for one single person. For somebody who's wanting to help the entirety of the populace to heal, that there to me, if they have evidence, they can prove of the afterlife with everything that they do, that's a good medium. A bad medium is somebody who does this for their own personal gain, who doesn't bring forward evidence. You can be a medium for your own personal gain, which isn't a bad thing. It's when you don't bring forward evidence when it becomes very diluted. Clarity, direction, and purpose. These are the 3 fundamental basics that each and every one of you should know who are coming into mediumship. If you have but one of those out of sync, it's no longer a mediumship. It's become the laughingstock that everyone expects it to be. You need to be... Coming back to the beginning of this as well, Spirit wanted us to address it. A lot of you might be a little bit miffed why I started off saying mediumship never belonged in entertainment. Put yourself in this situation. If you are emotionally distraught, you've lost your mother, you've lost your dad, you've lost your son, you've lost your daughter. A lot of you may have lost one of those things. You might have lost a friend. And you have heard of such thing as a medium. These mediums can offer you the world. They can offer you everything that your little heart needs in this moment. You're willing to pay anything. You're going to give them everything that you can to get the confirmation that your loved one in spirit is all right now. They forgive you. They loved you, whatever that may be. You then go to the medium, and the medium says, oh yes, I can do that for you. But what I'm going to do is I know that you are vulnerable. I know that you are clearly distraught. What I'm going to do is, I think the best thing for this is to put you on a public platform to do a reading. And then I'm going to give you the information during the online reading. Because that's going to help you so much. And a lot of you might be thinking, well, yeah, that's what they do, Jordan. How many of you have thought about the end results for the person who've received the information online? How many of you, if it's a genuine, authentic reading, how many of you believe that that is right, that that person had to be online as a spectacle for the world to see, to massage the medium's ego? Because that's what's happening there. The person could have got the information offline. The person could have got the information out of the way of the public eye. But the medium in the first instance thought, well, I'll tell you what, I'm going to show people what I can do. I'm going to show them how amazing I am. And a lot of you might think, well, actually, but that's good. We've come to know that. It's not good. Because that person who has now become a spectacle could have received the information in the comfort of their own home without needing to be scrutinised. They are at their lowest of low. They are clinging on to each little morsel of hope. They don't need to be put in front of a live audience to be made to cry. Listen, I've done thousands of mediumship readings. I've done thousands of tarot readings. There's many of people who've had readings from me. None of them speak out. And I'll tell you the reason why they don't speak out. Because I ask them during the reading to ensure that it's between me, them, and spirit. I don't need to massage my ego. I don't need to go onto a public platform and to show people what I can do to other human beings for my own personal ego, for my own. But no, that's not right with me. That doesn't sit right. It should never have been about that. It should have been about helping the everyday person to be able to heal themselves, to be able to help themselves. We can do that with a duty of care by knowing that the person's receiving the information in a way that's not only going to help them, but we can help them to deal with what comes through. As a medium, you never know what's going to come through in a reading. I've literally done readings where I've been sat and there's been big, burly, massive men in front of us, dorming, and I've started giving them a reading and started crying, and I'm like, oh my God, like I feel such a bad person. Or I always remember, right? I remember doing a reading. This person had continuously asked for a reading. And I was like, I'm not doing it. There was something I didn't want to do the reading for them. And whilst you might say that's a horrible thing, I'd already given them a reading and I don't want to create dependencies. I don't want somebody coming to me every other week wanting a reading. That's not how you live your life. That's not how the spirit world want you to live your life. If you want to communicate with them, you communicate yourself with them. You don't need to keep going to someone. That is the message of Help Heal Serve. It's to help each and every one of you to be able to help yourself, to serve and work alongside in the spirit world. Well, anyway, getting back on track. She asked for a reading, and going back to the point I was making before about you shouldn't do readings is a spectacle. She had asked for a reading at our place of work, and I knew I shouldn't have been doing it. Spirit told us not to do it, and I was like, I don't want to do it, but she kept asking and asking and asking, and I felt obliged. Learn from my mistake. When the spirit world are telling you not to do something, listen. Felt obliged to do the reading. I done the reading. One of the biggest mistakes I ever made. Seriously, one of the biggest mistakes looking back. Because in those moments, it wasn't about me helping her or giving her the information. I had done it because I wanted to prove I could do it. I wanted to do it to show everyone in that building what I could do. Within seconds, she was in bits. She was distraught on the reception desk, snivelling into her handkerchief. She had to get called away by her management. And I was like, what have I just done? I shouldn't have done it. I know I shouldn't have done it. And that's why it's very easy to sometimes think about what you want to happen during the reading. You think that you know the answers. You think that you know what is going to come through in the reading. But if you learn anything from this, please know that you have no control over reading. Seriously. I've done X amount of readings, and these mediums who tell you that they're the ones who, yes, you do ask the information, but you don't know the information that's going to come back your way. It's not your job as a medium to decipher or to decode what the message is. It's your job to just speak on behalf of the spirit world. You, in a mediumistic capacity, are going to use your clairsenses. You have many different clairsenses that we will cover on very different videos. And these senses effectively work like a radio antenna. If you think of the human form as being an entire antenna, the entire part of you that you know and have come to love and adore, or some of you might not love yourself, but you should do because each and every one of you are unique. But think of yourself as an antenna, and every section of that antenna is a different clairsense. When the information comes from the spirit world, it comes from energy, you've placed your intent has gone out, you've searched for it, you've asked it questions, it comes back into your little antenna, and it just goes through different levels. It might go through your clairvoyant, it might go through clairaudience, many different claircognizance, many different clairsenses. But that's how the information comes to you. You as a medium are going to get that information and you're going to decode it. If you're a good medium and you're authentic, you're going to speak everything that the spirit world asks you to say. You're literally just going to do what they've asked. If you're somebody who likes to try and narrate and change the reading to suit yourself, then the problem is with that is it's going to speak highly when people watch your work. People are going to pick up on it very, very quickly. Mediumship is beautiful. It's magical. It's like a flower. You can't force it to blossom. It's going to take time. It's going to take a lot of commitment, perseverance, determination. It's going to take willpower. A lot of people will fail at mediumship, and it's not because you're not capable of doing it. It's because you as a person just don't believe in yourself. If there's anything that you can learn from this video is to know that you can and are capable of becoming not just a medium, but becoming a great medium. You've got all of the tools on this platform. You've got every little aid that you need to guide you and usher you along your divine spiritual path, your mediumistic journey. You've got everything here at Help Heal Serve. You've even got the Help Heal Serve family. We can help you. Remember, mediumship's not a game. It's not a gimmick, even though you've watched people and it's now looks like it's a gimmick. I fully get that. I fully appreciate that and acknowledge why you would think it is. The problem is, though, you haven't watched this part of the video because you think it's a gimmick. You know there's something within you that is telling you, Jordan's right. I'm right. And that's why you're going to become a splendid medium. I guarantee it. If you did enjoy this video, right, why don't you consider smashing the like button, subscribing to the channel if you haven't already done so. I wouldn't know why you hadn't already done so. Remember to hit the notification bell so you don't miss any upcoming videos. Remember to check out the videos pinned at the left and right. And thank you to all of the channel members. I will see you on Thursday, 7:30 PM UK time. Till the next time, bye-bye for now.